Well, we better buckle up because what we just saw over the past 48 hours in just 1 week after President Trump came back from that globalist enclave of Davos, we are watching a new world order unfolding right before our eyes. And I'm not being hyperbolic about it because this past Friday, we witnessed the start of the Great Reset. 3 million Epstein files dumped on us, which are disgusting and disturbing to say the least. We also on Friday saw the biggest one-day drop in the precious metals market in history. And right now, as I'm recording this on this Sunday morning, we are watching something huge happening, a massive arbitrage happening between the Chinese precious metals markets, London precious metals markets, U.S. precious metals markets. Right now, gold is the indicator that a full-blown reset is upon us. Look over here at the U.S. ready to bomb Iran. Look over here at these new Epstein files. But if you look over here, there's something massive happening that's resetting everything right now. So I want to connect the dots for you today with 4 key parts of this story as I see them, okay? 4 key parts. But first, some context here, because on Friday, President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh as the new Fed chairman. And yes, there's a lot of baggage that comes with this guy. Heck, the guy's in the freaking Epstein files. Like, couldn't have picked another guy? Anyway, I'm going to do a deep dive on him soon, but not in today's video. But just so you understand, he hates stimulus money, this Kevin Warsh. He hates stimulus. He hates quantitative easing. He voted against it. He thinks correctly that it pushes inflation higher. Could have used him during the Biden years. He also changed his mind on interest rates. He used to believe that higher interest rates were good for the U.S. dollar, not any longer. He also believes the Fed shouldn't hold this much debt on its balance sheets. He wants the Fed to slash its balance sheets, which will also lead to lower interest rates. So this is a huge move. And this move, though, means that we are effectively in a new dollar era right now. The globalists are terrified of us owning any kind of precious metals, dumping U.S. dollars. So everything is changing right now before our eyes. So along with this new dollar era, we are in a new petro-dollar era. And this is important because if you're paying attention to the last cabinet meeting, the United States is now the largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world. This means the new petrodollar structure isn't sitting in Saudi Arabia anymore. It's now in the United States. And the trifecta here that just happened is a new plan for the U.S. dollar at the Fed, the precious metals market dropping like a bomb thanks to speculators dumping their holdings and everyone taking profits, and then the U.S. control over the petrodollar, energy policy. So all of this just happened basically on Friday. The petrodollar system was controlled by OPEC, were the source of endless Middle Eastern wars. This has now changed, meaning no one can shake Washington down on energy anymore. We produce more than you do. That makes every American 1,000 times safer as long as we don't continue to do Israel's bidding and bomb Middle East countries. We'll see what Trump does there. You know, if you really want to make America safe, stop listening to that demon Netanyahu and actually bring our troops home out of the Middle East, 50,000 of them back to the U.S. We've got our own problems here at home to deal with. But the neocon Fox News crowd would love nothing more than for Trump to kiss Netanyahu's ass and do whatever he wants.
Okay, let's bring in former Secretary of State and CIA Director Mike Pompeo, a Fox News contributor.
But one thing at a time. And just so you understand what happened on Friday, with everyone selling off silver and gold, I mean, a few weeks ago, the U.S. stole Venezuela's oil. It's ours now. China was pissed. They are one of Venezuela's largest oil partners, settling these transactions in the Chinese yuan instead of U.S. dollars. Well, America swoops in, kidnaps Maduro, steals their oil, kills hundreds of people, by the way, which didn't get any headlines. China then responds, limiting silver export controls. Countries and banks panic. People buy up precious metals like crazy because now the United States and China relationship is heading for disaster. But then things suddenly turned around. The U.S. and China calmed down. Things started to get back to normal. Trump and Xi Jinping are going to actually spend the autumn together, maybe holding hands and walking amongst the leaves. I don't know. Like they like each other again. So then Friday, it all comes to a head, right? Oh, things are calming down between the U.S. and China. All these leveraged bets and Wall Street speculators who overbought on the China tension, they bought tons of silver and gold. They suddenly decide to take profits, dumping it. The markets tumble. But normal people like me just doubled down and bought more silver and gold on Friday. Hey, buy the dip when these idiots play this speculation game. I don't want to have anything to do with those morons. Which brings me to the 4 main points that I wanted to make that a lot of people are missing in this whole story. Number 1, Trump wants a weaker U.S. dollar. And that's why I'm buying as much silver and gold as I can get my hands on.
Well, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money.
What people don't understand is that Trump doesn't want to push up higher inflation or debase the currency. That's a conspiracy theory. He wants a weaker currency because the U.S. now controls the world's energy markets. And he's trying to turn the U.S. into a manufacturing hub and massive exports to other countries instead of us importing everything from China and Vietnam and India. Of course, all of this might blow up in his face. I don't know. Might be the dumbest move ever, right? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what he's doing. But certainly the Clinton, Bush, Obama era of shutting down all of our manufacturing destroyed our country. So what choice did we have? Does he have? In order to compete with China and India, he believes we need a weaker U.S. dollar, a weaker currency, just like the Chinese yuan is weaker. And India's rupee, which is basically in the toilet as we speak. It just hit an all-time low. It's one of the worst performing currencies in Asia. So he believes we need a weaker U.S. dollar to create a manufacturing boom in the United States to compete with China, India. So this is a new era that we are entering in. This isn't some small policy tweak. It's an intentional move that could last a decade or more. Again, it could be a disaster, total disaster. We won't know for sure for a while, that's for sure. But certainly we're sitting in a disaster right now thanks to Obama, Biden, and Clinton. Now, the second point that we need to make is this is the end of the Fed's independence. So since 2008, the Fed has essentially become more independent. I know they're not technically independent. They still have to answer to Congress, but give me a break. So they dropped interest rates to nearly zero back then, created a housing crisis. No one did anything to stop them. No one stepped in and said, don't do this. Obama certainly didn't. Now we're entering a collaboration era between the Treasury Department and the Fed. Scott Bessent and Kevin Warsh literally worked together under Stanley Druckenmiller. Their desks were side by side. This means we're heading for much lower interest rates. And if you lower the value of U.S. bonds and U.S. treasuries, then foreigners are going to dump those bonds. And that means those bonds will now come back home. And the United States will be sitting on that debt. I will own this debt, not China or Russia. And we'll see what this means. This is a bombshell. I mean, this means that foreigners will not own these bonds anymore. American pension funds will. Now, what will they be worth? I don't know. So again, a lot we still don't know. But the next part of this great reset that we're seeing, number 3 on this list, in my opinion, is energy wars. So what Trump is doing with energy is a total shift from the Obama-Biden era. We are entering a Trump energy war era. No bullets, no killing, but import and export wars over resources. The United States is now drilling and now producing more oil and natural gas than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. Energy is the Achilles heel of China. They are the biggest importer of oil in the world. Yes, they produce their own, but not nearly enough to survive, and they're the biggest importer in the world. They cannot function without it. They don't have enough of it. China retaliated with silver controls after Trump took over the Venezuelan oil fields. This is going to get much worse, guys, much worse. And the fourth part of this reset is that he needs Americans to go along with all of this volatility and all of this drama, which is tough, right? Will they? Will Americans go along with it? Well, according to sources I've spoken to in the Trump administration, Trump and his team see it like this. During the Obama, Clinton, Bush, Biden era, which Americans were rewarded with sending jobs overseas and manufacturing leaving the United States, thanks, it was the elites who benefited from all of it. The elites. Ross Perot nailed it when he said the middle class would suffer. He said there would be a giant sucking sound leaving the United States, and the average American would suffer.
And you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south.
He was right. Now Trump's team wants to stop that. They're planning to declare a housing emergency to lower interest rates, stop Wall Street from buying single-family homes, tariff dividends to Americans, those 1776 checks to veterans, U.S. veterans, lowering inflation, lower gas prices. And he knows that most Americans don't care about Ukraine. He knows that most families vote with their wallets, so ahead of the midterms. Right? How's the economy doing right now if I'm going to go out and vote Republican or Democrat or whatever during the midterm elections? Is it helping or hurting me? Do I have a job, etc.? So this is a huge gamble that is all coming together right now in multiple parts as we speak. Now you have the MAGA Fox News crowd saying, see, Trump is Jesus Christ. He has it all figured out. He walks on water. Ignore everything in the Epstein files. Ignore all the times that Trump's name appears in the Epstein files or Bill Gates and all. Just forget about it. Trump is God. And then you have some economists saying this is a crazy move. Trump's insane. And it really doesn't matter how you feel about it. It's actually happening, right? You could be like angry liberal. You could be like MAGA cat turd. I'm excited about life. I love everything that Trump does. It doesn't matter. It's happening, right? So it's like, I want to understand how it's all happening. This reset is now officially here. So that's the news update part of the video. Now I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is tied to everything we just talked about. I don't know if you've been paying attention, and I don't know if you've been benefiting from paying attention, but copper demand is beyond belief right now. Supply is vanishing. Chile, the largest copper producer, sees production decline. Copper shortage is just a matter of time now. Copper is trading near all-time highs. The deficits coming are ungodly. From 1990 to 2023, 239 major copper discoveries. Here's the problem, though. Time to develop these mines has surged 40% to roughly 18 years. That's how long it takes to develop these things. Around 90% of major discoveries still need 10 years to reach first production. The United States of America and China are battling right now over mineral supply chains, technological supremacy, because globalization stepped out of equilibrium. And you can see just how, when you're looking at the strategy both superpowers are taking right now, Trump's using tariffs, deregulation to begin process of realigning mining, securing resources on U.S. soil, while the Chinese Communist Party is using their near monopoly status, their scale, their reserves to their advantage. So I told you about these energy wars. Bloomberg expects copper demand to reach 40 million tons by 2040. Energy transition, data centers, chips, robots will be the main drivers of this demand for copper. Copper surged to a fresh record as supplies tightened and inventories became increasingly constrained. So today I want to showcase a company that is actually trading near its one-year lows right now, down nearly 70% from its highs. It's the owner of the Majuba Hill Copper Project. It's a past-producing mine in the state of Nevada, and it's the sponsor of today's video. That's Giant Mining Corporation. Here is their ticker symbol on your screen. It's BFGFF. Now, the company is the only copper company that I am bullish on right now. And I again say this, Giant Mining has rarely, if ever, traded this cheaply. So I'm showcasing it to you right now because it's one of the lowest market caps in history. It began in 2026 with a breakout over record-setting copper prices. Then Giant Mining, by the way, their ticker symbol is available on Interactive Brokers, Charles Schwab, among all of them. So since President Trump's inauguration, his administration has aggressively pursued policies to secure U.S. mineral independence, with copper emerging as a major flashpoint. Copper, vital for defense, AI infrastructure. It underscores America's vulnerability to foreign dominance. In February 2025, President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14220, initiating a Section 232 investigation into U.S. copper imports. Now, the investigation, completed in June, led to a presidential proclamation that imposed 50% tariffs on semi-finished copper products, including wires and cables. And that was effective on August 1st, 2025. So what happened on August 1st? The copper sector, in my view, entered a brand new ground floor seismic level opportunity, marking the beginning of a transformative new phase right now for the entire industry. Now, what we've been seeing is the very first chance, in my view, to be a part of the rebirth of the American copper mining business. You know, we can access it basically as at a founding moment, as far as I can tell. Giant Mining owns a past-producing copper mine in Nevada, one of America's best and most cherished mining jurisdictions. Giant Mining, in my personal view, is my number one copper ID. I stand by this statement. Howard Lutnick said, American industries depend on copper. It should be made in America, no exceptions, no exemptions. And then Trump said, copper should be made in America. It's time for copper to come home. So you have historic underground mines at the Majuba Hill Project, produce copper, tin, and silver from the early 1900s to the 1950s, including 2.8 million pounds of copper, 184,000 ounces of silver, 5,800 ounces of gold, 21,000 pounds of tin. I'll say this again. All of these factors and the following ones below are the reasons that led to my significant bullish opinion about giant mining. So the infrastructure is ready. They have access roads, power supply, transportation, water supply. They have ore stockpiles, and they have established road access. They have power nearby. They have space for potentially processing infrastructure as the project advances, which is huge. So guys, do your own homework on giant mining, and their ticker symbol is right here on your screen again, BFGFF. And we'll see you next time, everyone.